line. I work with a my one of my favorite things is to work with a lot of different line weights. So I use those very thick, bold lines with
Okay.
those really thin lines. Something more along the lines of that, but usually I work with like a thicker line on that on around the flowers. But I tend to do a lot of floral designs. But with everything that you've been talking about and stuff, I decided to throw in a couple that just to see what you think and what you're comfortable with, talking to me about.
Yeah, bro, everything, man. That's why I love
Cool.
this shit, bro. I could go on for hours. I know there's fucking I love this flower piece, man. Like I don't do these particularly, but I can already see you have a talent for this. Your very small lines are like pretty fucking good. How long you been tapping?
I mean, I've been tattooing a while, so I started back. I'm probably like 18 years total.
Okay.
So I've been in and out, throughout the years. In the last 10 years, I've been pretty consistent with it.
Okay, good. That's what's up, man. Is like for example, are these lines in here a single?
So the lines around everything, I think I'm using a three,
Yep.
and then um, am I using?
I mean, fuck, if that's not a single, I don't know what I'm talking. I mean, I think it's a single, unless you're barely touching the skin with like a 06, 03, which is the smallest gauge ever. I
No,
th-
no, definitely a lot of that is it's nothing bigger than a three, but I use either three bug pin or three tight bug pin, or I'll use a single needle.
okay, so let's call this a single, right? For all intents and purposes. I think it's a single. It's your tattoo. You can probably tell me better. But if you forget, I think it's a single. Um, the single is super hard to get super straight lines because with any fucking movement of the needle, you're going to be able to see it because it's one fucking needle.
Yeah.
There's not much like, oh shit, I made a little error there. Let me run another line up against it to straighten it. Because when you run the line up against it, I guarantee you it's not going to be right up against it because it's fucking
Mhm.
one needle.
Right. Yeah.
So, um, if I had to critique it again for longevity purposes, I would say outline the outside with a five liner and outside do these tiny lines with a three. And if you can't fit as many of these lines per petal in with a three, take some of those lines out. Don't use a single. Single work too is not very longevity driven. It's not going to stay in the way you'd like it to because the ink goes in literally like individual cells. It sticks into the dermis. So, you know, a three liner will stick into probably, let's call it microscopically, you know, six cells wide will get it. So if a few of those cells end up missing it, you're like, oh, I can't really see that from, 5 inches away. But a single, if anything, comes out, it's all choppy. Like it'll eventually get choppy.
Yeah.
I would say like do these boulder lines in here at the top of these pedals in a five, or use like a 12-3,
Okay.
and then use like a 6-3 or an 8-3 for the inside lines. And again, if you can't get super close with 17 lines like that, just simplify the tattoo period. Just make it less lines. Like,
Okay.
because you're not going to
Yeah.
be
So.
like, again, I'm zoomed in on an iPhone and can barely count these. So imagine in real life, like you're only going to be able to see three, four, five of them things. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Of
so
course.
just again, as I've been talking about the
So.
whole time, simplify your own life. You don't even have to pull that many
So whenever I
lines.
usually work with a flower, I just sent another one real quick so you can take a look at it. This is usually kind of along the lines of what I tend to work with. Whenever it's along the lines of, like I said, those real thin lines
I
and stuff
mean,
like that.
dog,
So
like, what are we talking about? This shit looks
that's
great.
more of an accurate.
Yeah, dude, this shit looks great. I mean, I can see all the line. Dude, I love this. What is that? Is that a five or a seven? That line right here?
Can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. Is that my
Okay.
phone?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You used a five or a seven for that?
So the border is a nine liner or nine round shader, one of the two.
All right, bro, look how good this looks. Now, I'm not gonna lie, like here, you could got it a little cleaner. Like I'm sure you see your little hiccups in the line work
Yeah.
there. But let's call another line that I see that's like not like that. Like that one looks pretty damn good. That one looks pretty damn good. This one looks a lot cleaner at the bottom of that one.
Yeah.
So, part of the critique is like you being willing to pull a nine out, do the outline, and then if you see any small skips or things like that, you need to go back in it with your three and adjust that line.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because going into it with a nine again, you're probably just going to make it thicker.
Yeah, and that's something that I tend to forget too. I'll end up doing the same thing, and I'll end up trying to angle it just to kind of get that little corner of it. And
Yep.
so I tend to forget sometimes. You know what? Let me just grab my three real quick and clean this
Yeah,
up.
get it in there with the fucking nine. And if you have these little holidays or hiccups, take a three and just slight adjust those, and it'll be easy. Now, another thing, because honestly, I see that you have black and gray work on here too, but by far this is your best style. Like like for sure, this is what at this point, this is what you would sell at a high dollar, at a high amount, and a a frequent amount of. Um, so I personally, again, I make life simple. I started black and gray when I was young. I've only dealt with five tones since the day I started my apprenticeship. I haven't changed much, bro. But 20 years later, I'm great at what I do. And I think 20 years, I don't know if you'll be in the industry then. I don't know if you care about it, but in general, if you're gonna tattoo another, I'll probably tattoo another 10, 15 years. If you're gonna tattoo another 10 years, like do the same thing every day. Like I told the last dude, like pick something and stay with it, man. Cause you can't go play pro basketball, pro football, pro soccer, and pro hockey. These guys have done one thing their entire life on repeat, and now you're seeing the result of it, thinking that they're the best thing that ever hit the earth, but they've done constant work in that field. So I would definitely suggest you sticking with this kind of work. It looks great. um Clean up your lines a little bit. Your shading even with the single looks fucking cool, man. Like I like this style. I've always liked this style. I've never done it, but I've liked it aesthetically on people. And the fact that you have chosen to use different line weights, you're kind of already ahead of a lot of people because you can separate your flowers. Like when there's bunches of flowers and people use all the same line weight, you can't differentiate the flower.
Yeah, so like most of it, obviously, like you can see the heavy, thick lines around it. But if you zoom into that top left corner or right there with a right
Yep.
underneath the daisy, those there's no lines. Those are just real soft shading
Yep.
with like a 40%, and that's it, just to give it that kind of shadowy, soft look whenever it heals.
So this is where you go next level with it, right? Clean up the lines a little bit, like I mean, you can see, bro. Like again, I don't need to be a
Yeah,
brick or
yeah.
say anything
There's that
stupid.
one
Like,
spot right there underneath that pedal that I don't like. There's a
right.
couple, that pepper that's getting out of the lines and stuff like that. I just kind of need to work
Yeah,
with
like
it
in the
just here and
in the
there. And
center, here, it's slightly blown out a little bit in that center
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Like
that's the one I was
dumb,
looking at.
dumb, dumb shit like that, bro. Very editable, very, very changeable quickly. I mean, you know what you're doing. Sometimes we just make small mistakes. Now, the next level for you though is cleaning the lines up, and then like this isn't realism, right? By any means, it's more like minimalistic line work, like detail. But when you get to these leaves and these berries, if you can use your solid blacks on the darkest part of those berries and you can make those lines disappear,
Okay.
it's next level, bro. Like I'm telling you, it's stupid. It sounds very small and very
No,
dumb.
but those little minimal things, like you said, that's why I love using those different line weights because it gives it that high contrast. And so putting that dark spots, those really, really black spots to clean up that line work and then having it in front of that flower like that, it will give it that extra contrast.
Um, I was even thinking like you should make those little berries frequent in your pieces in asymmetrical areas, like not even, but just kind of
Mhm.
scattered randomly, and use black and dark in them only and make the lines disappear and make that where you get your blacks for your pieces. because you're not going to get your blacks anywhere else in here, which is fine. It looks great. But if we're talking like a me tattoo, I need a lot of blacks. So if I can't get them from leaves or light flowers, I got to get them somewhere. And I think that's a good spot for you to get it, is to kind of make that your little signature thing, whether they get bigger or smaller for some pieces, whether you have different leaves attached to them on some pieces, doesn't matter. But make those berries in random spots where you get your points of black from.